Hello, I'm Rob Constantine, and this is Paranormal Record. All right, well, everybody, welcome back to the show. It's exciting to be here in my second season of Paranormal Record. If you haven't heard the first season, you should. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. This is a true ghost story podcast, and we talk about ghosts primarily, but pretty much everything paranormal and unexplained, unknown here on the channel. And it's been a lot of fun so far, and I plan to go new places and talk to as many people as I can and talk about our theories and talk about ghosts and what's happened to us personally and ask questions and talk about it and read your emails and listen and talk about those. That's what we do. That's what we do here. It's just a forum. It's just an open platform where we talk about the paranormal and the unexplained with complete and total openness and under the idea of we all have theories, we all have discussions. Nobody knows exactly what is happening, what we're seeing, but we'd like to talk about it. We'd like to theorize, and we'd like to continue to talk about it and continue the discussion and the ongoing interest. And it keeps our little light shining, is what it does. So I plan to do that for myself. And for you, the listener, come with me. I want to hear what happened. I want to hear people's ghost stories. I want to hear people's personal tales. And this is where we do it. So if you have a paranormal story that you'd like to tell me about, something you'd like to share with me and the Paranormal Nation, our listeners, please write in to paranormalrecordpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you want a really cool new Ouija board sticker, oh my God, we got Ouija board stickers, ladies and gentlemen. Send me your mailing address to my podcast Gmail account at paranormalrecordpodcast@gmail.com. Send me your mailing address. I'll send you a sticker. I'll slap a stamp on that bad boy, and I'll send it. I'll give you a sticker. So, today, guys, we're talking to Kelly Treybig, who is working over there at the Caswell House in Austin, Texas, 1404 West Avenue, Austin, Texas. The Caswell House, ladies and gentlemen, they are open for tours. Check them out at the Caswell House. Let's see. Get a website here. Let's see here. We can find a website. Caswell House. Huh. All right. Well, no website yet. Let's see. Well, let's read about it. Let's read about it. All right. Daniel H. and William T. Caswell House. Houses. Oh. They're two historic homes in downtown Austin, Texas, completed near the turn of the 20th century. The buildings are located at 1404 and 1502 West Avenue, respectively. The Daniel H. Caswell House is home to the Austin Junior Forum, a volunteer organization, and the William T. Caswell House is used for office space. Both were added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1975. Says Daniel Caswell came to Austin from Nashville, Tennessee around 1895. He purchased a cotton oil manufacturing company. He bought and sold cotton and in 1899 built a cotton gin. When completed for his family in 1900, the house was located in the far northwest corner of the city. In the Caswell House, which exhibits influences of late Victorian colonial revival and Chateau Risque style. Chateau, Chateau, Chateau Q. I don't know what this word is, ladies and gentlemen. Chateauski, Chateauski style. Right? I don't know what that is. All right. Features a corner turret and porches supported on rusticated piers. And it is declared a landmark for Texas in 1984. Cool. Daniel H. Caswell House. Nice. This is neat. City of Austin, Texas. All right. Wicked. Cool. Well, they're open for tours. You can rent the Caswell House and you can get married there. And that is all the information I see here online. Website. Here we go. Nice. Daniel H. Caswell House. Info. Let's see. More history here. Constructed era 1899. This 4,560 square foot limestone house was one of 3 neighboring mansions built by the Caswell family, all designed by architect A.O. Watson and perched on a hilltop. It boasts views of Shoal Creek and convenient access to downtown via the Rio Grande streetcar line. The house's style combines Gothic and Renaissance elements, featuring a 2.5-story design with a round turret on the northeast corner of the main facade. The tower's first floor was altered in the 1930s to include an exterior door, likely during the house's conversion into a duplex. Fanny and her second husband, William Benzer, who owned the house from 1932, remodeled it into 2 flats. After Fanny's death in 1934, William V. Benzer lived on the second floor until 1965, folks. So, right there into modern times. Demolition danger. Oh no. In 1965, Benzer sold the Caswell House to Landrum Hickman, who divided it into more apartments. Rapid deterioration prompted the city of Austin to purchase it in 1968 for demolition. However, plans changed in 1974 when the city aimed to become a bicentennial city, leading to a restoration study by engineer Eugene Washkash. The study helped place the house on the National Register of Historic Places in 1975. And then it has information about the Austin Junior Forum. The Austin Junior Forum, the AJF, purchased the house in 1978 through a competitive bid. Although the city council awarded the home to AJF, the women had to obtain their husband's signatures to secure a loan. 1978, all right. To pay off the loan, Austin Junior Forum members created the cookbook, Lone Star Legacy, selling over 200,000 copies since its initial printing in 1981. Still found in antique stores across Texas, proceeds from the cookbook helped them pay off the mortgage in just 3 years, and then members in their family dedicated countless hours to rehabilitating the interior of the home. Today, the Caswell House serves as the AJF's headquarters and center for community service, hosting weddings, parties, and corporate events. So, if you want to get married, you can rent from the AJF, and you can rent the Caswell House and get married there. My guest today is Kelly Treybig. She works at the Caswell House. She has a couple of stories for us about her experiences working there. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Here's my guest, Kelly. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Kelly, how are you? Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And I went on Facebook and joined a bunch of groups trying to find guests, and I found you in the first like 5 minutes. You posted something, I posted something, your post blew up, and then now we're friends. Like, I
Yes,
love technology.
I do too. It's amazing, isn't it?
It's so wonderful. Like, just the human connection of it all. Like, the internet says, people say, oh, the internet pulls us apart from each other, but it doesn't. It brings us together in so many ways, just different ways of communication that you have to be accepting of. And then once you learn how to travel those byways, look at us, Texas to
I know.
Georgia,
I
new
know.
friends,
I
new
know. It's
friends.
amazing.
I love this.
Yeah. It is amazing. And I think too, timing, well, I've always felt that timing is one of the most important aspects of almost everybody's lives, and timing for me meant coming somewhere that has been in my life on the sidelines for a long, long time. And then also just getting the guts to say something last week and then having, like you say, it blow up and getting to know you and
Yeah.
listening to your podcast. I feel sort of like I already know you because I listened to 2 of your podcasts while I was, getting ready for this. And so I do feel
Awesome.
like I
Thank
already,
you.
yeah.
The pilot episode is still my favorite episode. I love that episode, and
Yeah.
every episode's my favorite episode. They're all my babies, but I'm telling you, that first episode, it's really, that story was the reason I started the podcast, or one of the reasons I started the podcast, and yeah, just such a great story.
Uh,
And one day, Nathan's gonna call me back and come on here and tell us the story in first person instead of third and fourth. Nathan, if you're listening, you're welcome anytime, brother. And Lacey, if you're listening, tell Nathan to give me a call.
that's great. Yeah.
um, well, Kelly, thanks for coming on the show today, and then just tell us a little bit, and you have the floor. We're so excited.
Okay.
Thanks for letting us be here.
Well, that's wonderful. So I really appreciate it. So I'm actually in the house right now that I work in, and I posted about last week. I posted, I work in a haunted house that was built in 1899. Ask me anything. And of course, people, I want to say I had 650 comments by the time I tried to edit it because people kept asking some of the same questions over and over again. And I'm sure, like every administrator of a Facebook group, people are not sitting there at their computers approving posts. So when I tried to make an attempt to update it, it kind of got held off. So I'm not sure what the status of that post is. But yeah, I technically have been employed by the house since the end of December of this last year, but I've been coming to the house for a couple of years as a member of the group who owns it. And then I also came here when I was in high school. It is in the heart, literally the heart of downtown Austin, which, I mean, we can look out our
Austin,
balcony.
Texas.
Austin, Texas. We look out our balcony and we see the Capitol just a few blocks away. We are right on the outskirts of what is considered the university area. The house is actually built on what in the 1890s, when the maps were drawn, it was the furthest corner of northwest Austin. So it was the last house to be built in that section. It's on a street that was considered to be Judges Hill, because most of the people that built homes and lived here were either judges for the Supreme Court or the Travis County, which is the county for us, or they were some sort of attorneys, that were involved in law at the time. So it's kind of up on a hill. I mean, considering Austin's so big now and goes so far out, and the metropolitan area goes even further out. Where I live, it's like 20 miles away. But it's still city of Austin. So you can see how much it's grown in the last 125 years by looking at a map.
Wow. I wore my, speaking of Austin, I wore my Stone Cold Steve Austin hat today. This is my pencil cup on my desk. I'm a big fan of Stone Cold,
Yeah,
one of your hometown heroes. So,
right. Yeah, we've
and
got
I
quite a
think,
few of them, and a lot of them have been here. I mean,
and Steve lives in Austin still too, right?
yeah. I
I
mean,
think so.
we have a new group of what I'd consider to be famous people. Like, of
Right.
course, Joe Rogan just recently in the
Yep.
last five
Fan of
years
Joe. Yeah, for
relocated here.
sure.
Matthew
Cool.
McConaughey is he's one of our big guys. He's a huge backer of the university, so he's at all the UT stuff.
Very
Uh,
cool.
Most politicians have been here in this house, actually,
Oh, wow.
back to back with each other. Democrat and Republicans have events, and we, of course, because of our organization, remain neutral. We don't close
Same.
doors on anyone.
Of
So,
course, sure. Yeah, same. Yeah. I mean, I try to keep neutral grounds on my platform and also on my
oh yeah,
Facebook
yeah.
page as well. I
I
have
have
friends. We're
opinions
all
on that, but
friends.
I don't share them on
Yeah, I have
when I'm
opinions, of
here.
course. We're all friends, and I just want it to all
Yeah,
be. I want everybody to listen. I want all sides, both sides to listen, and same, exactly, right? Yes.
yeah,
So, absolutely,
right.
keep politics and religion off the table.
But this house it
Yes.
represents something really deep in the community for several reasons. The plight of the house was off charts several different directions. When it was built, the family owned it and stayed in it for roughly 30 years, and then it became like sold into one of the son-in-laws lived in it. He turned it into duplexes, then it was turned into fourplexes. At one time, the city of Austin owned it. They were going to tear it down. There were 3 homes right in a row that Caswell built. They did bring the middle one down because they extended 15th Street, which is a main thoroughfare, into the city of Austin. They were going to open it up to a freeway and take 2 houses down on either side. It ended up not happening. Thank the powers that be, because otherwise I'd be
Right.
sitting on the freeway right now.
Yeah.
Um, and ever since I think that occurred, and it went on the chopping block, and it was literally it was destined to be destroyed. I believe it got a life of its own in a way. And then the way that Austin Junior Forum, which is the organization that owns it, became about was they got a really great chance of getting a bid for it back when the women weren't even allowed to have business loans. So they had to actually get their husbands to sign their mortgage, and they ended up paying it off in 3 years. So the house itself has a life that is deep in like I guess a phoenix type thing. It kind of reinvented itself at one
Yeah.
time. And now what we
Sure.
provide the community, and what we live alongside of, which is what I feel like when I'm here, is there is definitely spirits here that are not in the same realm as me. And I have the utmost respect for them. And they let me know they're here all the time. So,
I'm sure they do.
yes.
Well, Kelly, just tell us about that. Were your paranormal experiences isolated to just your employment uh, at this house, or they were, do you have any beyond you're starting to work in here, or that's where they started?
Well, I had been warned back when I first joined AJF, because you have the opportunity to be in the house. We get it ready for this big Christmas event every year, which is our main fundraiser, so we can give grants. And the house definitely it provides a service to people that want to rent it for events, but it is our home to where we turn it into a Christmas event and then make money off of that. It's like a Hallmark store exploded 5 times when
That's
we did it.
awesome.
And that's
Hey,
how we get
Kelly,
yeah.
just let's say the name of the house again, and I want to make sure that everyone knows where we're talking about, that you guys are open for tours and they can come see you.
Okay. It is called the Daniel H. Caswell House, and it is in deep downtown Austin, Texas. It is, we do have a website. It's called caswellhouse.org. We
Caswell
have
House,
a
everyone.
Caswell House. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram that I've been trying to get going. Um, we we are open for tours for people wanting to rent the house for events. They're free tours. We do have people that come by and want to see the house because they've driven past it their whole lives,
Yeah.
or they know someone that had, had a wedding here, or had been to a a fundraiser or something, and they just see this house with a turret, which is an unusual house, this beautiful
Oh,
white
wow.
limestone house, and they want to see what's inside. And of course, you know, I like to give tours because I love the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have a silence on your phone? It just pinged through the
Yes,
headset
I do. But what happened was it's on my um
computer.
that was a let me see if I can get out of that. It's
I
like
hear
one of
you.
those it's my MacBook and it's attached. Let me quit the messages and I bet that
No
stops
worries.
it.
And I'm gonna edit this part out. No worries.
Yeah.
It'll be seamless. You'll see.
Yeah. So anyway, if they visit our website or the Facebook leads you to the website, they can
Okay.
go to the site and contact me. There's a company in Austin called Ghost Tours,
Yeah.
and they have given tours. They are really big in doing like the cemetery, which is actually where the Caswell family is buried. There's a
Okay.
whole episode on their website about Clara Caswell, who was a granddaughter of the man who built the house.
Claire
And
Caswell.
Clara Caswell, yeah. Well, she
Okay.
was Clara Caswell Dismukes. She was from Tennessee initially. That's where they were born. All the kids were born in Tennessee. And then she had a horrible situation. Her first husband died of tuberculosis when she was like just in her 30s. She kind of stayed single for about 10 years. Then she married a preacher, and they were on their honeymoon in Alaska, and their ship hit an iceberg,
What the
and
heck?
they were both killed
Oh
on
my
their honeymoon.
gosh. Oh no.
Right.
I want
It's,
to go to Alaska. I totally get that. Oh
yeah,
man, that's
I know.
that's
It was
awful.
really sad. So she's a big figure in the house, and her grave is actually a place that a lot of people in Austin go to
That's
if
really
they're into,
cool.
if they're into ghost tours.
Rest in peace, Clara,
Yes,
and her husband. And my goodness, wow, ah, that's heartbreaking.
I know.
Gosh,
I
an
know. To think
iceberg.
that, to
What?
think
Oh
that,
my gosh.
yeah, to have two of the loves of her life, back to back. Um, there's a street named after her here in Austin.
Well,
So,
she died too in the second go around.
right,
Yeah. Oh,
right, yeah,
very sad.
yeah,
But we'll talk about her, and she'll be remembered today.
yes. So anyway, okay, so I think what I've stirred up in this house is for when the house was first built. And Daniel Caswell moved here from Tennessee. He had grown children, including Clara. And there was he was an oil cotton oil mill person. So he had all these successful businesses all over the South. He had businesses in Tennessee. He had businesses in Georgia, all over. And there was this big question mark of why would somebody in 1890 something in their late 50s pick up and move everything from one part of the world basically to another. And Austin was fairly new at the time, and so there was always this question mark as to why. And over the past couple of years, with the DNA sites, ancestry DNA, and all of those kind of things, some stuff
Sure.
came to light, that there was a huge reason why he came here. And that was because he had been married before he ever met his wife that he moved here for, and he never bothered to get a divorce.
Okay.
And so he had a whole family, and his current wife found out where he was, and this was in the 1860s. Found out
Right.
where he was, came after him, sued him for bigamy, and won. So all
Whoa.
the children that he had were all the ones that he had with the second family were ruled ineligible, which is a huge no-no back then. You didn't, you didn't mess with that kind of thing. And I think it caused a huge rift between him and his older children in the second marriage.
Right.
Um, so that has all come about. And one of the things that I like to do is dig around in ancestry stuff and the old newspapers, I have found it went all the way to the Supreme Court. And there's some things in his divorce case that are still to this day cited because he did not name her in the right jurisdiction. So when you divorce someone, you have to have their current, you have to sue them in the place they live. And that's how he got out of it. Was he tried to say she was living in Illinois and she was actually living in New York. And she
Okay.
was, so I think that we kind of stirred some stuff up with him when we started digging. And
Okay.
that's what I personally think, that either his first wife, who died mysteriously in the middle of this divorce case in 1888,
Oh my gosh.
or Lucille, his second wife, are the two females that are in this house. I know that I've read things that say no, that a spirit can't come into a place where they never technically were. I don't believe that. I think that she was so in love with him and so willing to do whatever she needed to get him back, that I believe she attached herself to his spirit, or his even being alive. And he died in this house. In fact, 109 years ago, yesterday, he died on Leap Day of 1916, in the room right over there. He
In the
died
Caswell House. Yes.
in the Caswell House.
Yes.
I believe that I think she attached herself to him because she
Yeah.
could never let him go.
People are always like, "Oh, graveyards are so haunted," and I'm like, "Really?" Because probably have never visited the graveyard I'm going to be buried in. Probably, I don't know. I probably will be buried. I actually probably will be buried with my family's plot. So that's not necessarily true, but I have visited that graveyard. But a lot of people have never visited the graveyard they were buried at. Why would there be ghosts in a graveyard? Why? I'm just saying.
Right. Their shell is there, but their
Yeah.
root is not. And
Right? Like it's like, oh, come on now. If you believe in this stuff and have any theories on it, the graveyard's the last place that someone's gonna be. Probably.
I agree. I mean, I do think it's good to respect a person being
Oh,
buried there and
all about respect, for sure. No, no,
visiting
for
them and
sure.
stuff. But as
Yes,
for a
yes.
spirit, I believe that that is a completely different ball game.
And
And
maybe all those people visiting a grave, and it is where their shell is, and maybe that draws a spirit to a grave. Everybody grieving and going there. So maybe there's that. I it's all maybes. It's all theories.
right, you
I'm just
just don't
saying,
know, right,
right? Yeah, for sure. Anyway,
right.
yeah, when
But
I go to a grave, I talk directly to a person and I'm with you.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just feel like there, especially after reading the stories that I've read in the newspaper, and there was so much in there.
Right.
I feel like there was so much. There it goes again. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm gonna turn this. Okay. Hopefully that won't go through anymore. There's so much tragedy, um, sadness, I think, associated with her. We've had debates in our organization since this news came out. And I believe, like, so the first wife was named Anne Mary, second wife was named Lucille, and his name is Daniel. And there's no question that Daniel is here. In fact, I'm positive of it. I smell pipe smoke several times a day when I'm here. And there's no way that's a coincidence. He was a pipe smoker. His library is directly across from where I'm sitting right here. I think he was just one of those people that always had a pipe in his mouth. Um,
My
he
grandpa.
makes, yeah, he makes himself very well known. But I just think that Anne Mary had such a difficult time in letting him go. And I don't think she's where she's buried, put it that way. I think she
Yep.
came to Austin with him.
Yep. Oh wow.
Yep.
So what did you want to tell us today as far as your experiences in the house and what what did you want to tell us about?
Okay, so the first time I really had any kind of real, this is not a coincidence experience, was one of the very first times I was here by myself. And I had heard people had told me, the lady that had the position that I do, the caretaker that had been here, there's a full apartment in the attic of this building. The
Oh,
caretaker used to live here, but now it's just used as storage. But it's a really cool apartment with a widow's walk around it.
wow.
And the guy that had been the caretaker, not this past one, but the one before that, had some real face-to-face experiences that he had told people about. The lady that I took the position from was probably one of the only people like me that's here on a daily basis alone. She told me, she said, when you get here, every time you get here, you say hello. You, even if you don't see any cars in the parking lot, you say hello, and then you say goodbye when you're leaving. And I thought that was so silly. I would do it at first just to kid around, but I just had this really silly feeling when I was doing it.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? That was a crack. That was a crack. That was definitely a cracking noise back there.
Like
Okay.
a snapping of a stick, like somebody walking through the woods.
Like somebody was just walking down that hallway,
Oh,
right?
like a house creaking with there's nobody in it.
No, and there's like
Right.
no reason why it should be doing that. Okay, sorry. That
I
was
heard
technical.
something and I saw
Yeah,
your face. So
yeah.
folks, I record my interviews with a video screen. I know you don't see a video screen and this is audio only, but I am live with her right now during this interview at the Caswell House.
At the Caswell House. Um, okay. So I think sometimes when I talk about certain things,
Sure.
things happen that if I'm really busy and keep my head down and try and focus on stuff I'm not doing, I don't pick up on it. But there's other times where I can actually feel like a vibration feeling in my hands and in my chest, and then something will happen. It's just now. I was just talking about the first time so I didn't say hello one time. I came in and I didn't
Yep.
do it. I remember saying to myself, that is so silly. Somebody's going to think I'm crazy if they ever know I did this. So I came in, did my work. One thing I've noticed is that time here, it flies, meaning that I can be at home and it feels like an hour has passed or 2 hours have passed. When I'm here, when I'm doing stuff by myself, I can sit down and feel like 15 minutes have passed and look at my watch or my clock, and it's 3 hours later.
That's great for work. I wish I could do that for school. I think that would be
Whoa,
great.
it, it it is so weird though. I feel like I have no concept of time here.
Yeah.
Um, but that particular day, I did not say hello. I thought about it to myself, thought, how about that's just so silly. Did my work. I had a tour, went upstairs, I have to turn on all these lights, and there's so many lights that in order to remember that I have as many as I do, I count them, how many lights I turn on and off. And I did it. After those people left, I went back upstairs and I turned off all the lights and I got in my car. Well, I closed up. I did not say goodbye. I
Right.
walked out the back door, locked it up, got in my car, drove around the front of the house, turned back and looked at the house, and all the lights were on the second
Oh
floor.
my gosh. And you counted them as you turned them off to
I
make sure you didn't
counted them.
forget.
I counted them.
Sure.
So I turned right instead and went through like this side street parking lot through an alley, came back up, came in the house,
Oh,
smelled pipe smoke so strong.
and you
Went
have to
up.
physically turn the switch to get the light to go on. You have to physically touch it and turn it.
Oh yeah, this is an
Yeah.
old house. It's got light
Yeah.
switches on it.
Yeah.
So I went upstairs. I had this really funny feeling in my stomach. Dang it, I cannot figure out how to turn those stupid notifications off. I am so sorry.
It's okay.
I mean, okay, I'm going to allow notifications.
Don't allow notifications.
No, yeah, it's telling me not. That's the problem with when you have Apple products, is they all tie in together, whether or not you want them to be. Because
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
That won't happen anymore. Okay. So I had the weirdest, funny feeling in my stomach when I went back into the house. I felt super sluggish, very like exhausted, like I had run a mile just in that 5 minute period. Went upstairs and said out loud, I'm so sorry. I'm turning all the lights out again. I'm sorry I didn't say goodbye. I was so freaked out.
Yeah.
I called a friend of mine and I told her, I said, I am going through some weird stuff here. This is really odd. I
Yeah.
didn't believe that this could happen, but it was clear that it did. And so that was my first real experience.
And the lights stayed off that night as you drove away. They were
I
they
think so. I mean, they stayed off because I went back out the front and went the same pathway, looked over my shoulder. They
you,
were off.
you get an email like 2 days from now or whatever, and it's your boss, and she's like, Kelly, when you first started, you left the lights on, especially that first week, and you were just like, whoa.
I actually called her because she has access to the cameras. I called her that day and I
Oh,
said,
okay.
will you look at the cameras on the outside and see if somebody came, like, is somebody
And turn
messing
the
with
lights on. Yeah.
it? And she said, it's Caswell things. That's what she told me. Because it's
She's like, I'm
Caswell.
not even gonna waste my time. Look, he turned the lights on. Let's all deal with it. We'll move forward. Oh my
Right.
God. Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's
So
wow. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So
I would
the
have
next
freaked out
weekend,
if I looked up and they were just all on. I'd been like,
yeah, it was.
this is
It
not
wasn't just one.
happening.
It, I could have
Yeah.
even explained it if there was one or two on.
Sure. Yeah.
But no, I counted them. I walked through
The
the
whole
house.
second floor was lit. Yeah.
The whole second floor was lit. So the next weekend, I had a tour. It was two guys that were coming in looking for a venue for their wedding. They were both super duper nice. One of them was asking a lot of questions about the history of the house. He was
Mhm.
very, very into it. So I'm talking to him, and I'm actually sitting in the exact same spot I'm sitting right now. I'm sitting there talking to him. He's asking me questions directly about Daniel Caswell. Um, they have their back turned to the hallway. Um, and the lights start going on and off in the back, on and off, not just on and staying on, not just off. They were clicking on and off in this one hallway that's right outside of his Daniel's, what he called a library.
Yeah.
I kind of just thought, okay, the power may be flickering on and off, but I realized that like the chandelier, that guy,
Yeah.
it was not doing it. The light to my right was not doing it. It was only the light in the hallway outside of
Right.
his library.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, he must not like what I'm talking about. That's the only thing I can think of, is that he doesn't like what I'm talking about. So I completely stopped talking about the history of the house. I am so sorry.
Yeah. The chandelier was flickering because you were
Yeah,
talking
the
about
chandelier
Daniel.
is no question about it.
Yeah.
The chandelier was freaking
Yeah.
kind of flickering when I was talking. It happens all the time, and especially when I talk about him. When I'm
So,
talking about other stuff, it doesn't do that, but
yeah.
it is doing that now.
So
And I also,
was that
yeah,
the end of anything that happened when that the two guys were there for their wedding? That story, is that the end of that day? It
uh,
just was flickering
I
and then you
I
stopped
kind of
talking?
picked up. I kind of that when that occurred.
Yeah.
It was just a few days after the whole second floor lights being on.
Yeah.
When that happened, I realized that was I had to consciously tell myself to change the subject. And that was the first time I think I realized I was respectful of the fact that he probably didn't like me talking about him. That that was a feeling I got, because I do feel like there are times that he does like us talking about him.
Yeah.
I think that the spirits in this house definitely go through periods of time where they want us to be aware of them and respectful and talking about them. And then there's times when the topic of conversation goes in a direction that they don't like.
Yeah.
And so they let us know. And
Oh
There
my
have
gosh.
been, okay, so
Yeah.
right before, okay, that's
What'd you
weird.
what'd you see?
It's a noise.
What'd you
It's a,
hear?
it's a high pitched like whistle noise
I
in the
hear the
front of
car. I hear the
no,
cars in the background. I
no,
hear
there's a
trucks going by.
vibration. There's a vibration that way, but there's a noise in the front of the house. I think that's a big truck on the street, but
Okay.
there's a whistling noise. See,
I hear
like
the trucks. Yeah.
yeah, the truck was on the street. It's probably one of those big monster trucks. But the whistling came from the front of the house where the turret is, where I normally sit.
When you say monster truck, I just think Sunday, 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 right this week, $5 kids get it for free, right here, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Yep, yep. But yeah, I
Uh,
mean, it's Texas, so there's people with big trucks that drive by.
oh yeah,
Well, what can I say?
everything's
We're a southern state, right?
everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah, especially this close to the Capitol, and they're all in session right now. So there's a lot of turmoil going on that
Okay,
direction.
a lot of emotions.
There's a lot of emotions, and but that's the world we live in right now. And
It is, yeah.
I feel like the experiences that I'm going through right now are uh, helping guide me through some pretty uh, questionable times that I don't know if at every aspect of my life I'd been able to keep the frame of mind that I do.
Yeah.
It's sort of like staying focused when I hear sounds and stuff. I already have ADHD, and
Same. Maybe that's why we communicate so well,
yeah,
Kelly.
it could
Hi,
be.
hi, friend. Hi, friend.
We're connected.
Yay.
So yeah, that was definitely one of the second times that I went, okay, there's definitely something here. And fast forward to a week after that. So
Okay.
that was on a Saturday. The following week, I come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, other days off and on. I was here. There is a armoire that is not part of the original furniture that was in this house, but it was in the Caswell family, and somebody had donated it back. There's a door on it that will not stay shut. It closes even though the part of the floor that it's on does not tilt either direction. Like you can set a little ball bearing on it, it doesn't roll, but this door will not stay shut or open. It just constantly goes back and forth. So I had this idea that I was going to put a nail in it and tie a string around it to keep it open. I've done things all of my life that, I'm not a handy person, but I kind of MacGyver a lot of stuff. And I had a little nail, I had a hammer, and I'm not kidding you. For 30 minutes, I tried to push this nail into this wooden armoire to just hold a string on it. It would not go in no matter what I did. I was so frustrated. I sat down on the floor in front of it and I said out loud, okay, fine. If this is not what you want me to do, then show me what you want me to do to get this door open. I cannot handle this door coming open and close. At that moment, a magnet rolls out of the cabinet and falls at my feet. It was like,
What?
it was a magnet.
Yes, no, I heard you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh. That's
it,
wonderful.
it, there was
I
a
know
spot
that's really
on
scary, but that's wonderful.
but it rolled out onto
Sure.
but I
Oh
wasn't
my gosh.
scared. I was like, okay, he answered me. This is
You're
what
like,
he wants me to do.
thank you. And then you do it.
Yes.
And then a day later, you're like, oh, wait, that was really scary. What happened?
It was like, I mean, I was sweating trying
Wow.
to get this stupid
Yeah.
hammer to work for me. And
You're trying to get the door to stay closed inside the cabinet. So you're going to tie it off and then shut the other door that does close. I get
yeah,
it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's like an
Oh my
armoire that
gosh.
comes open
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I see you. Yeah. Yeah. I see it in my head. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
And so now
gosh.
I use this little clippy thing with a magnet on the back of it.
Yeah.
And it stays open or it stays closed, whichever one. But it was exactly what he wanted me to do. And I do remember him, the lady that worked here before me, because she sits in the same section. She
He's
sat
got
there.
notes on the new furniture. Like this isn't even something that belongs to you. Why do you care? And it's like,
Right.
hey, I'm a ghost. I live here too. Oh
Oh,
my
this house
gosh.
is his, 100% his, whether we built it or he built it, because, it got
Ah.
gutted at the time. So he definitely guides me, you know. He he
Wow.
he is a definitely, he lets us know when we're not doing what we're supposed to be. And it's weird because I never thought I would sit here and talk to a ghost. I never did, but here I
Or
am.
say hello and goodbye, but you better not forget.
Oh, always. Always. Yeah, always. So I guess yeah, I do think that the discussion of him, his indiscretions, I guess is the best way to put it, because he's not
Okay.
that different than the majority of people in this world, because a lot of people have skeletons in their closet. I imagine he never thought that his skeletons would come out 109 years after he died. Um, and one question I did have for her, so like a couple weeks after that, after reading
Mm,
everything I did,
yeah.
I decided to sit down before I left one afternoon and directly ask Lucille, who is the wife that lived here with him, the one that he built this house for. I asked her, "Did you know?" Because I've had friends and I've had other people I've found out, that they found out that their husband kind of lived a whole different life while they were married. And, I think that it's kind of human nature to think that a wife would be taken off guard by something like that. But at the same time, I've known women that have stuck by their husband and they knew. I mean, look at our president. His wife knew what, like, there's no
Right.
poor Melania, and I don't believe there's a poor Lucille, but I kind of just wanted to know,
Yeah.
did she know that he had been married and didn't get a divorce, or did he just tell her, yeah, I got a divorce, and she just went with it because she knew he was giving her anything and everything she wanted.
And she loved him. Yeah.
And she loved him anyway, right? He was
Right.
a lovable guy. I kind of love him too. I mean,
Very
you know.
cool.
Mhm.
Sure. That yeah, it's interesting. The more we dig into people's histories, just the more human they become, and everybody makes mistakes, but they also have the ability to be the people they want to be. Everybody gets a new start when the sun comes up the next day. You be who you want to be, and you
Right.
be that person, no matter your past. You decide who you want to be every day, and you just continue and try to be best you can. That's all you can
Right.
do.
I do. I feel like
For
too
sure,
that,
right? Yeah.
yeah, it's sort of like, that's, like I said, it's leading me to look at my life, and especially being led down here the way I have,
Okay.
being as honored as I feel, so honored. I want to pinch myself sometimes when I think that I get to work in this beautiful stately home in the middle of Austin, Texas, and um, get to
I'm so
smell
glad.
pipe smoke, and
Yeah.
it's it's so beautiful. Like, okay, on that Facebook post, I had somebody. I think I posted a picture of what the house looked like in 1976 when the city of Austin had taken it over, and it wasn't very pretty at that time. And somebody goes, "Why would anybody want to have their wedding here?"
Dude,
And,
people are such trolls. Don't listen to them.
oh, I know. Well, all I could think of was, they do not have a clue how beautiful this home is, and how much character is. Like, people
They're
can have weddings.
trolls.
Yeah, that you can
They're
have a wedding
trolls.
at
Just
a
don't even pay attention to them.
hotel, but
Yeah,
like every Marriott ballroom looks the same. I'm sorry, no matter where
they
you
do.
are.
They do. They
You
do.
know,
My friend's visiting Japan and talks about the Dragon Con looking carpet in the Japan hotel, and it's in Japan. Looks just like the one here in Atlanta. So, no, but don't you listen to those trolls,
I'm not.
Kelly. They
I'm
don't
not.
they don't have anything better but to be negative and awful, and they're everywhere, and they comment on my music and my friends' music and my films and plays, and they're just trolls. They got nothing better to do. Just don't pay no attention to them. Just
Yeah.
move right along. Just move right along. You don't even have to honor
Address
their,
it.
don't
Right.
even pay them enough mind to talk about it. They're just
Right.
always going to be there. And you know what? Who is not commenting are all the people that got married in that beautiful house and memories and pictures. They're not commenting. So you know what? That's the stuff you don't see. People say such negative things, and there's such a outpouring of negative. People don't say positive things enough. And there's just those trolls out there. He's probably never even been to Texas. He
Oh,
don't
I know.
even know.
I know. I know.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I do feel very honored to be.
I love that you love your job so much. You would
I,
be who I would want to hire to put exactly to represent Caswell right there. That's who we want to have here and running the place and being the caretaker. You're perfect for your job. I'm so
well,
glad you love your job. That's
I do.
awesome.
I do. I've done a
Yes.
lot of different things in my life, and this kind of like gives me an ability. I can work on so many different things. And I want this house to keep having a life in it. And I want this organization. We do so much for the community. We provide grants and funds and volunteer hours for so many organizations in the city of Austin that serve women, children, and elderly. And
Caswell House.
yeah, by keeping this house alive, we keep that going so that we
Very
can.
cool.
And he was a huge, like, there's a huge recreation center. The street that was built to go to one of the most historic parts of Austin, it's called Mount Bunnell. It's haunted as well. He's the one that did it. He built that road with his own money. Daniel H. Caswell and his son William built that road. He did so much for the people of Austin in the 1800s and the 1900s and now the 2000s that
Yeah.
it's got to keep going. And I've
I
got
love
to
that.
keep it going for them.
I love that Caswell House is still here and making a difference and doing things. What a legacy. And that's what you want, you know. Um, we can't take it with us, but we can leave a legacy, whether by being the people that we are or the money that we have and putting it into things that matter, like people and
Yes.
moving things on, education, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's where your legacy is going to really lie, not in the kind of car you have or the
No.
addition you have in your house that you never have time to go in or whatever. Like you leave a legacy of people,
Right.
and if you have the money, leave a legacy helping people.
Yeah. That's
We're not
so.
necessarily
Yeah.
right. We're not necessarily like by human nature, like wired to help other people. We're all about ourselves, and that's fine. We got to keep breathing and moving around. But you know what? It's nice to help people when you take the opportunity and put time into it, even though it's against, oh, I'm spending all my money on someone else. But yes, but the things you'll receive in the end, like helping people is such a wonderful thing.
Right.
Just try it. It feels good. It feels good to care and help other people. And that legacy is about. And that is a good legacy to leave over everything else, right? It's
It is.
just,
And I think
yeah.
too that right now in this world that we're in and the things that
Right.
have come about and are going to come about like in the next
Oh,
4 years. Speaking of which, Elon Musk is here in Austin now, or technically it's on the outside of it. He's not
okay.
here, but his
Okay.
Tesla is here.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
there there are a lot of things that I think people feel helpless about and feel like they can't make a difference. And I think that happened back during November when people didn't vote. The apathetic aspect of well, what difference does it make? My vote won't count, no matter who you vote for, right? But one
Please
thing
vote
that
no matter who you vote for. That's
exactly
exactly right.
the one thing that
Yes.
you can do is if you feel like stuff is happening and you are not going to make a difference, it's completely
Okay.
that's bull. But it's
Yes.
bull.
Yes.
Because even if you don't have money to give to someone, you have the power within you to do something for them. And that's how I think that's why this is so important to me. And also keeping the spirits happy.
Yes.
Everybody needs to be happy. And just why is it that everybody feels like once someone dies and their body stops working, that their spirit isn't here anymore? That's not true. Our spirits are here, and we just need to keep it going. That light, or that love, or that desire to help other people. So,
I like
yeah,
it.
no, nobody
Yes, I
should say,
agree.
sit back and go, it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what I do. That's not true. It all matters.
Everybody matters. Absolutely.
Hmm.
So, so that happened. What else? What's the next thing that happened, Kelly?
Well, the magnet. Okay, so the attic. That was a really crazy one. So we have
So
an attic,
the old caretaker's facility.
the old caretaker's facility, which has been a part of the house for years. It was just an attic when the house was first built, and then when it was remodeled in the early '80s, they turned it into an apartment where the caretaker lived.
Right.
And now it's just kind of a storage area. There's a full bathroom up there. It's a really creepy, dark room because there's just one big skylight in the center with the original fireplace that goes down into the middle, like just this big brick pole. With just, there's one window in the front and then a bedroom that has a window. So there's no light really coming through. And this particular day, it was very overcast and cloudy. And I went up there. The door that hides the interior staircase is literally it's like a hidden door, meaning that it doesn't look like it's a door. It's one of those, it looks like just fancy wooden wall. And it opens up and there's this kind of steep stairwell. I went up there.
Yeah.
I was up there putting some stuff away, and I heard somebody on the second floor, it's really the third floor when you count the attic and the basement.
Okay.
So they were on the second floor, which is where the ballroom is. And I heard someone walking, and I heard a male yell out, "Hello," sort of in this kind of like where you're fishing to see if somebody else is there, but you don't know if they're there or not.
Right.
And I thought it was this guy that is kind of a caretaker. He's more like a handyman. And he had been there earlier. And I remember thinking, well, I thought he left. But I guess he'll find me if he keeps looking. And then I heard him again. "Hello." And it sounded closer to where I was standing in the attic. So I go down the stairs and turn the corner. And when I did, I saw the back end of a man. He looked like he was wearing long john underwear, like those kind of the kind that look like you wear them underneath your clothes for warmth.
Yeah, I know they get the buttons for you for the butt
Yes,
buttons.
yes. So I saw the back tail, like the right side of his shoulder, and I saw him walking, and I heard footsteps
Oh wow.
walking away. And I
Yeah.
thought, when I saw that, my first thought was, it's not Tate, the guy I thought it was.
Yeah.
I smelled pipe smoke immediately. It just filled my nostrils. And I thought someone had broken in because I
In
knew I
in their
was
pajamas. Yeah, in
in
their
their
long
pajamas.
johns.
I
Yeah.
thought someone had been there,
Oh
and
my gosh.
my heart started pounding. Um, I didn't know, should I go after them? There is a door exiting like to the outside that you could go. And I did have that feeling of, which direction do I go? There's a
Yeah.
person in this house. There was a person in this house. There was no question about it.
Yeah.
I looked at my phone. I texted Tate and I said, "Are you here?" And he didn't answer. And like 20 minutes after this all occurred, he texted me. He goes, "No, I've been home for like an hour."
Sure.
So I knew it wasn't him. Um, it it was so like, it was so overwhelming that I literally felt sick for like a good half of the day.
That's
Um,
shock. I mean, it's
it was shock. It was shock.
adrenaline spike for sure.
Yeah. I
Oh my
didn't feel
gosh.
like he was being mean or anything. I didn't feel that way, but I did feel like it was it was like a new experience of him letting me know he was here.
But
Like,
something in
I'm
your
not,
head told you, even while you were, even in the actual time you saw it, that you were experiencing something else. It wasn't a person. Like something told you
exactly.
that. And you
Yes.
just had to listen to that because
Right.
something, even when it was happening, you were still like, I don't think that's a person.
Right. And because I knew that, and I called my boss after that
Yeah.
happened and I said, would
Yeah.
you please check the cameras and see if somebody came in? Because she has cameras on every entrance and exit. And I said, would you check the cameras and see if anybody came in here after Tay left? And she said, no, nobody did.
Mm.
Um, and then, so that was my first experience with the attic, rattled me. I got nothing done the rest of the day. I felt sick. I felt, you know, questioning like, could it have been somebody else? Why would they have been in that room in particular, you know, but or in that hallway, because it's a very creaky hallway.
Yeah.
And you don't really walk down that hall without making a noise. You can hear it all over the house, and that's what I heard. And also the fact that he was yelling out hello, like he was looking for me or whoever he thought was in the house. And
Yeah.
so that was that first experience. And then the second time I had anything in the attic, I was in there by myself. Like I said, there's no lights. Like lighting in there is awful. There's only one window. And I turned around. I was messing in this like long kind of, it's like, it looks like a dormer from the outside, but it's actually this long, like narrow room. And I was back in there and I was moving some stuff around and I heard a noise behind me. I turn around and uh, it looked like a shadow moving from one side of the room to the other fairly quickly, but there was no light to cast a shadow. So it was like a
Aha.
shadow in the dark.
Well,
Um,
yeah. Shadow person.
I guess the best way I could explain it was I said it's like if there's a dent in a surface, a dent when you watch water, there's like a dent in the water and it kind of rolls. That's what it looked like to
Yeah.
me.
But in the light. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Have you
where
have you have you heard of shadow people? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've heard a little bit about it, but
Okay.
not enough to know what if that's what I
I
saw or
I'm
not. It,
I'm
it
I'm telling you, other people see stuff like that all the time. That's
mhm.
a and it's a whole type of of phantom, a whole type of specter, spirit, entity. There's so many names, right? But yeah, shadow people. But that's sure, Kelly. I mean, that's legit
Right.
paranormal
I did not
happening
smell
for sure.
anything when that happened. I did not smell pipe smoke.
That's the
Um,
same day. That's the same day you saw the
no,
Long Johns
no,
guys. Okay,
no. This was like I've been
another
coming down here by
another day.
myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was another day right after. Probably the first experience I had in the attic after that by myself, and
Was that
there
shadow
wasn't a
person? Was that shadow person in the attic where there's no light, like you were talking about?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's not, yeah, that's.
Yes, he
Oh
definitely was.
man,
And I
for
was in
sure.
this area of the attic that is not a common area for anyone to be in, and
Right.
kind of bent over and uh, turned around, and I saw this thing, and
Yeah, because
yeah,
caretaker's quarters is just storage. People aren't up there.
no, it was definitely not something, and I was alone. There was no question. There was no way I could have been up there with somebody
Right. Yeah,
that
yeah,
moment.
yeah. It's
Um,
just you.
and that person did not, that spirit or entity did not speak to me. I didn't get a good mischievous feeling from him. I didn't.
Well, Long John said hello twice
Long John's said
and
hello
really
twice,
loud, really loud.
and I have heard Long John's since then. But
Okay.
I'm down on the first floor. I hear Long John's. I know it's him on the second floor. And I'll just yell back, hello, like that.
Right.
And but
So
I
you've
don't
heard
go
that
looking
you've
for him.
you've heard that same voice again also
Hmm.
say hello. Oh wow.
Yes,
Oh wow.
definitely.
Do you think that's the caretaker just hanging out in his pajamas, going to bed, and he just that's who he's come back as, I guess, or
I
you
don't
know,
know.
we don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
We
don't
don't know.
know. I think Daniel plays with the lights. I think Long John's might be they did have like servants live here with them
Oh,
back in
okay.
that period of time.
Yeah.
They had like housemaids, and this was a farm. Like the area that we're on right now, it went back forever, and I think they probably had homes that caretakers and people lived on when this place was in the 1800s, and it could have
Wow.
been one of them. But
Could
I
have been
don't
a lot of people. Yeah.
I don't think Daniel would have worn his long johns around. He was too distinguished for that.
Right. It's cold enough in Texas to have to wear that sometime, though, right?
Yeah, and it was during this period. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Right.
it
Yeah.
was really cold in January a couple times. Mhm.
And they don't, do they have central heating now? But they probably didn't
Yes, they
always.
didn't
Yeah.
back then. They had coal
Right.
fireplaces and stuff back
Right.
then. But
So
now they do. Yeah.
long johns would have been right on.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
What else?
Um,
What happened next?
well, I told you, I kind of mentioned that I asked Lucy, did you know?
Lucy
Um,
is the owner and the girl you call about security footages, or what? Who's
no,
Lucy?
no. So Lucy was his second wife and the one
Oh,
that he
okay.
built this house for.
Lucille. Got it. Got it.
Lucille. She went by Lucy or Graham. In
Okay.
the stuff I've read, she like once she started having grandkids, everybody called her Graham, and she lived
Oh,
12 years longer than he died in 1916. She died in 2017. I mean 2027. They
I was
both
like
died.
2017.
No, 1927. So they
There you
both
go.
died in that room. All right. So
She
they
she died in the future. Sorry.
right.
Oh,
So
oh, oh,
So they
okay.
died in that room, and the reason why is that they called that the foyer, and they both had their funerals in there too. Several people did. So that's how
Most
they used
people
to do it
had,
back then.
a lot of people used to do it. That's how they did it. They had wakes and they used the front door and they put the body on the front door.
Yeah,
There was all kinds of different traditions and
right.
what? Yeah. Oh
They
my
were right
gosh.
in there. So the day I decided to ask Lucille if she knew, because it was the day I'd like done all the research and figured out that I think she did know about all the stuff. I think she did
So
know
you
that he married.
you just said out loud, "Hey, Lucille, I wanted to ask you a question. Did you
Yes.
know?"
Yeah.
Wait,
I
so what happened?
I was sitting over in the chair over by there's a grandfather clock that is original to the house. It was brought here from Maine where he was born. So it's probably like 1830s, this old clock. I sat right next to it. I sat looking at the area where they would put the people on display, or either
Right.
like if they were on the watch for death watch.
Yep.
Um, I sat there for a moment and I said, I just want to know if you were okay with everything, and did you know? Like, I, 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 I just decided to do this, like spontaneously, the day I did this. And I kid you not, I smelled this gardenia type perfume immediately, and a light went on the stairwell, the grand stairwell. A light came on.
Hey, Lucy. Hi.
Mhm. But
Oh my gosh.
the smell is what got me, no question, was yeah, I was like, either she loved gardenias or she had a gardenia smelling perfume, or something along those lines. But
Right.
gardenias are a lot like, they use those as a funeral flower to this day. Sometimes
Sure.
funeral homes smell like overwhelming flower smell. But I got my answer, and I don't think she cared. She's definitely she told me that she knew, and I don't think she cared, because she got what she wanted. She got a beautiful home, and she loved him, and you know that was the way the things were for her. And
Right. Yeah.
um,
Wow. That's really special that she reached out like that.
oh yeah, and I was not scared. Like, I think the only time I was ever really, really
Right.
scared was
Yeah.
the time that I thought it was a human,
Well,
not a
yeah.
spirit, you know.
Yeah. A guy broke in to run around your
In
your
long
thing
john.
in his long john. Hey, you know, crazy
Yeah,
enough to break in. Maybe you're crazy enough to run around. I don't know.
right.
Uh, yeah. No, for sure. You're like, wait, would somebody break in here just to get in their pajamas and run around? Probably not. Probably wasn't a person who was alive. I saw something else. No, but I hear you. I hear you.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think I hear things all day long, and I know when I hear like just the whistling that I heard a minute ago when I was talking about things, little things like that. That yeah, it's an old house. There's sounds that come out in old houses, but it's so strange to me how it happens when I'm talking about certain things or hearing certain things. Being
Yeah.
answered. But I do find that if I play music a lot, I do. It's kind of the way I can focus, keep my focus so that I don't hear the things that make me get sidetracked.
Yep.
Um, that I feel like the house likes me to play classical music. So I put it on like a channel, Spotify, kind of like classical music.
Yeah.
And I get a good feeling from that. And I feel like I feel like they're coworkers, if that makes sense. I do feel like I have
And
coworkers.
at least you're not alone at work. That's nice to keep you
No, I'm not.
company.
Yeah. So,
I have a house full of decorations and just wonderful things and pictures and stuff from my family, and I don't ever feel alone. I miss my mom all the time, but when I turn the dishwasher on, I think about her, because I used to hear the dishwasher when I was a little kid at night. She'd do the dishes after everybody went to bed, and that sound makes me feel better. And I rest in peace, my
oh yeah,
mom. But even now, when I turn the dishwasher on, I'm like, just little things. So
right.
you're not alone at your house, like you're not alone at
No, I'm
work.
not. I'm not. And like I said,
Yeah.
timing is huge to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
I I I feel like it makes me a better person for the people that are in my life that are still here in this realm
Okay.
to have these people that I'm working with. And I mean, it's such a unique experience, and I do feel very honored to be a caretaker. And I hope that whoever comes after me in this position, the last
Yeah.
lady was here for 17 years. That's a
Yeah.
long time.
It
Whoever
is.
comes after me has the same kind of, nobody has the exact same experience, but they have the same amount of respect for the people that are here still. And who knows, maybe I will be here when I'm gone in that different realm.
I, you
I'll come back
know,
here.
I hope you have a long career with Caswell, and I hope if you do come back and haunt something, I hope it's something you love.
Yeah, I do too. I do
I am
too.
just going to haunt my friends and make fun of them.
Yes. That's the thing. If you ever come to Austin, you need to come. We're going to have a group from Nashville is coming through in the fall, and they're going to do a Dracula. They do a Sherlock Holmes type of deal, kind of a
It's a
dinner
show,
party.
right? It's a dinner party. Yeah. Oh
Mhm.
man, I got to see Clue. Well, Michelle got to see Clue. I had tickets, but I couldn't go. But she went with her friend Jess. Hi Jess. Hi Michelle. They went and saw it at the Swan House in here in Atlanta, which is a historic home. And oh my gosh, it's so awesome.
Oh, it's so cool that they're going to do a Dracula one. Um,
Wicked,
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, and they do like 3 showings for 2 nights, and it includes a dinner, or like a light snacks and a drink, and
It's a
so I'm
Swan Coach House. That's the name of it. Yeah, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I love all those things that.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, very cool. Well, is that up to date on all the experiences you've had so far?
let me see. I know second floor. Asking Lucy. So when I smell the other thing that has happened, when sometimes I'll smell the pipe smoke, which is not my favorite smell, but it's not foul. And then the gardenia smell, I do smell
Yeah,
that, and it's just super kind of sickly sweet.
yeah.
Every once in a while, I will smell something really bad, and I get a feeling that it is not a normal like source of like something
Does it smell like
either.
death or decay, like a dead animal or
Yes,
something? Yeah, I know what you're talking
like a
about.
whiff of something
Yeah,
not healthy in this life, and
yeah,
like somebody that has like really bad body odor kind of
yeah. I know what you're
smell.
talking about.
And
Yeah.
I do occasionally will get that. So I have air fresheners all over this house now. Um, because I don't want other people, like my fear is, what if I'm not the only one that smells that and they walk in and they're like, what the heck? I don't want to be in here. I don't want to have something here.
You should have an emergency pipe somewhere and you just peck it out and light it and be like, it was me. No, it was me. And
Yeah.
we don't allow smoking here. Sorry about that. And then you just put it out and put it away like, sorry, it's my bad. I like a little Dervindish. I
Yeah.
really do like my black Cavender.
Yep. That's what I should do. But no, I just have to worry.
No, don't start smoking now. Good God.
No, I won't.
No,
I
no,
won't.
no.
No, I won't. But
Oh,
that's pretty much it. Like I said,
okay.
there's just some things that are just repetition. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's how that idea. I heard that again, and um, I I have limited my amount of research to not being here when I do it anymore. So when I
Oh,
was here before, and like I had a tour, and then I had a couple hours in between it, and then I had another tour. And so I just pulled up my ancestry stuff and was reading these newspaper articles. And that was one of the days when things kind of went sideways, I guess. So I have decided that that's probably not a wise thing for me to do, is look at that stuff or talk about it while I'm here. I don't think it's a good idea to do that. And
so why absolutely just, do your podcast episode there.
yeah, that's true. I should.
I've heard theories on, people opening themselves up and fear, and then ghosts using us as some kind of like lens on a projector and coming through us in that same idea. And so maybe you were more open today, so open in those days, and they were able to use your energy you were giving them to project themselves. Kind of, I've heard that theory, right? I'm attaching this to something I read, which really blew me away. Regardless of what you believe, prayer puts energy out that you are sending with your spirit, with your soul, and that energy can protect you
Yeah.
because you are literally putting something out from your soul and putting it into the universe, and you're putting it out. And I know that sounds hippy dippy hokey, but
No.
literally prayer is you emitting want, and that want is protection, and that want is powerful. And that
Right.
just blew my mind. That was like, whoa. So
It's
maybe in
good.
the same idea where they use you and you open yourself up a little bit more, and
Right.
they can use you, maybe your energy's stronger and they can use that energy to do what they do because you are opening
Right.
yourself up to it, but they're also using that energy you're emitting, right? Like that power of prayer kind of thing. That blew me away, that article. And you
Right.
guys, I know I talk about stuff all the time without citing it, and I'm sorry. I just read so much all the time and have my whole life, and it doesn't necessarily stick with what I read or where. I know it's horrible, and apologize, fans, but I'm always reading, I'm always talking, and I always do preface things with, there's a theory I read, there's a theory, here's a thought. I'm not stating fact. I'm saying here's something I read that I like, that I think is interesting. So forgive me
Right.
for not
Well,
citing things because
you're acknowledging too.
yes.
You're acknowledging and uh, clearing your mind probably in a way that if you don't focus on something, I'm not like to pray is
Yeah.
literally you are clearing your mind of the noise and you're focusing on something uh, that you needed to focus on, and
Yep.
that's the best thing for you. And also realizing that I don't think there's a lot of coincidence in this world. We end up where we're supposed to be, and a lot of times
Hmm.
it doesn't seem like it's a good path, and it might not be, and there might be a lot of detours, but when you look back on things, you go, okay, now I get it. Now I understand why I had to
Right.
go through all of this
Yeah.
other crap to
Yeah.
get to where I can enjoy what I have now.
Sure.
And it's not really for us to understand. Sometimes we get too caught up in trying to
Well,
understand.
we can try, question everything and keep
Mhm.
thinking and keep asking questions, I say. So till the day I die, I'm going to be thinking about things and not necessarily trying to figure everything out, but just a nice, a nice, uh, a nice calm kind of a precipice to journey forth with my questionings on. How about
Yes.
that? Like a nice platform to be like, all right, let's go from here and let's keep thinking, keep asking
Yes.
questions. But
Oh, yeah.
and always be ready to learn more and have your opinions completely changed. Be open to that.
Oh,
Ask
yeah.
questions, ask questions, always be open, never stop learning, I say. But yeah, trying to figure out everything to where you just wrap yourself in a little tight knot of
Mhm.
completely not understanding anything. Um, yeah, don't do that. But just
No.
try to find a nice plateau of, okay, here's what I understand, and then build on that a little bit. And I understand very little. This is what I've come to know at 49. But I'll just keep going,
Yes.
and
I
I'll keep
agree.
questioning. I'll keep learning.
I
But
agree.
I hear you. I hear you. Um, Wow. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for the interview today. And I just so enjoyed my time with you today. And I know the Paranormal Nation's out there listening and also enjoyed your story. And thank you for being a part of Paranormal Record, which I love so much and pour so much energy and passion into. So glad to have you as part of us. And I hope this episode continues and people listen to it years from now and go, wow, what a cool thing that happened to Kelly. Wow, what
Yeah.
a story. And visit the Caswell House while you're in Austin, Texas. Visit, get in contact with Kelly through email, and give a call to the Caswell House and set it up. Get in there if you want a tour. It's really cool. I would
Yes.
ask to see the attic if I were you.
Ah, yeah.
Don't miss it.
Okay.
But thank you so much, Kelly. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, take care.
Alrighty. Bye.
Good night.
Well, that was cool. Love it. Yeah, very cool. And shout out to the Caswell House. Shout out to Kelly Treybig and her family. And go and rent the Caswell House right there in Austin, Texas. If you want to get married and you live in Texas, maybe consider driving to Judges Hill and getting married at the beautiful Caswell House right there in downtown Austin. It's gorgeous and it's got a really cool history. And it's just since it being taken over by the AJS and also all of the people like Kelly that just love it and maintain it and keep it beautiful and keep it going and safe from highways. um, Hooray for that, and hooray for preserving our heritage and preserving our history and it being important. It is so important. Where we came from, who we are, where we are going, all that stuff's important. To know our history, to know where we came from, and to know where we want to be and who we want to be, all that stuff's important. History is cool. I dig it. I dig it, man. Side note, Stone Cold Steve Austin does not live in Austin. I don't know why I thought that. I'm a very big Stone Cold fan, and I thought I knew it all, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know a lot. It's cool. Stone Cold Steve Austin, da 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 da. He lives in Texas. I was right about that. Uh, let's see. Stone Cold currently lives in Nevada, specifically south of Reno, on a 40-acre ranch called the Broken Skull Ranch 2.0. Somebody bought the original Broken Skull, which was in Tilden, Texas, in 2017. Okay, cool. So he lives in Nevada. Um, there you go. All right, so I was wrong about that. Hilarious. So Stone Cold fans, I'm a Stone Cold fan myself. Don't come at me with emails of no, he doesn't live in Austin. I really thought I knew what I was talking about. I do not. Fair enough. Anyway, so just wanted to correct that. ladies and gentlemen, that was awesome. I love it. I'm going to try to get more historic home interviews. That seems to be a great source. Those people spend the most time in those places, and there are definitely some haunted historical places out there. Much better than abandoned historical places. The preserved ones and the museumed ones have running water and electricity and a staff and a phone number that I can call and be like, hey, do you have any stories that you'd like to share? Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a story you'd like to share, please write into the podcast at paranormalrecordpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to have you as a guest. I'd love to talk further and hear your tale. If you want a sticker, send me your mailing address. I will send you our brand new Ouija board paranormal record stickers. They're amazing. They go right on your laptop. They go right on your cell phone case. And you can tell all your friends about Paranormal Record. And hopefully I will hear from you if you write me that email and tell me how much you love the show. I want to hear it. Please. I need air support. I need mail support. I need that just sounded so weird. I need email support, ladies and gentlemen. Email me to your heart's content. Say hello. Tell me how you like the show. I see that there, 4,000 or 5,000 episode listeners out there, and all of you are listening but not talking to me. Come on. This is a whole platform based on people talking back and forth and other stuff. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear what you think about the show. Write me emails. I want to hear from you. I'll write you back. You have my word. I'll write you right back. So if you're bored and want an email from the podcast that you listen to, write me in. I'll send you a sticker. I'll say hello, and we can talk about whatever. I just want to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen. I know that you're out there listening, and I appreciate it. Keep listening. Stay tuned, dear listeners. Paranormal Nation, stay tuned. I got lots coming up for you. I got a bunch of interviews lined up, and I got a bunch of really great guests who've got a bunch of great stories. And I am very, very excited to be in your earbuds every week, on the treadmill, in your cars, back and forth from home. Much love to you. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Constantine. Good night.